With a simple compost system, you can recycle most of your organic waste and enrich your garden's soil at the same time. The best location is a well-drained area with only a little shade. Compost bins tend to be too small to reach the right temperature, so the sun will help with heat. A composting system can be a simple heap, or shredded vegetation and grass clippings spread over the garden as mulch. You can use a specifically designed bin, old garbage bins, wooden pellets, 3-star pickets wrapped with chicken wire, or a ring of banana plants with a compost heap in the middle. The bananas eat the compost and you eat the bananas. You can also use a combination of systems. This allows one to compost while the other is being filled.
So we found ourselves the perfect location with a bit of sun. Now the first thing you need to do to set up a compost bin is a good drainage layer in the bottom. So we've got ourselves some nice small twigs. You could even use some coarse mulch. Drainage layer in the bottom. Now your compost bin is going to need a nice balance. It's going to need carbon and nitrogen. So this is a balance of browns and greens. So on the green side of things, you've got your fruit and veggie scraps, you've got garden prunings, you've got all sorts of things from your garden that will go in beautifully. A few kitchen scraps in there. Now just with your garden prunings, your weeds are also a resource. But just remember, pop your weeds in a black garbage bag, bit of water in it, cook it out in the sun for at least a day, and then it can also be a resource that goes into your compost bin. The reason we cook it is so that it won't germinate later in our composting system. So any weeds that have seeds, that will take care of them. So we're going to do a nice layering system. Greens in, then browns in, greens in, and then browns in. It gives you a nice balance in your composting system. You can also add things like, on the brown side of life, we've got shredded paper, we've got cardboard, that's a nice old toilet roll there. We can rip him up and put him in. We've even got a bit of straw. Chook manure is actually the best for your compost bin. It's high in nitrogen and it'll create a nice amount of heat in your composting system. You can also add things like your tea bags, coffee granules. Pretty much anything that was once alive and is now dead can go into a composting system. Just be careful, no meat and no dairy products in your composting system. But it can handle your citrus, your onions and all those sorts of things as well that come out of your fruit and veggie scraps. A few ingredients that are really good for your compost, they're called compost activators. So you've got things like comfrey, arrowroot, yarrow. You can pop a few of those in. They're fantastic. Now another good thing for your compost bin, you might have heard people say to sweeten your compost bin. That's adding something like crushed eggshells, Dolomite, garden lime. That'll help actually neutralise some of the acidity in your composting system. Beautiful. Now you can chop up your ingredients. I mean, the smaller you chop them, the faster they'll decompose, but it's not essential. But the smaller it is, the faster it'll be. So the next thing you'll need after you've got all your ingredients in there is some moisture. You can get moisture from all over the place, but of course the garden hose helps. So a light spray of moisture in there. Once you've added your moisture, then you'll need to aerate again because the moisture actually puts weight, so it'll squash it down. So to aerate, one of the best things you can use is a good old garden fork. Great exercise, get that in there and turn everything and aerate it and fluff it back up again. You can use other systems like an air core with a pipe that goes down in there with some holes in it. There are compost turners these days that you can wind down in there and lift as well. So whether you're a casual composter or you're dedicated to it, it can take anywhere from 6 weeks to 6 months to get compost from this system. Just remember, no matter how long it takes, you're going to have black gold at the end. That compost that you get, you've just turned waste into a resource. So you've got a free resource, put that in your garden and you're going to have the healthiest plants you've ever seen. Just remember to keep it alive and keep it working.